Have you ever found yourself wondering if there's more to life than the endless pursuit of success or approval? What if the key to lasting happiness and peace doesn't come from achieving external goals, but instead from a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you? Many people spend their entire lives striving for spiritual maturity, often without realizing that true growth starts from within. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos of daily life, chasing after promotions, seeking validation, and trying to fit into roles that don't quite feel like you. But those who have truly embarked on the path to higher consciousness know a secret. The journey to fulfillment isn't about controlling the outside world. It's about mastering the world inside you. In today's fast-paced world, so many of us are living on autopilot. We're reactive, we're distracted, and we're disconnected from our own true selves. Instead of finding peace, we find ourselves constantly trying to manage how others see us, worrying about what the world expects. This constant striving leads to stress, anxiety, and a deep sense of dissatisfaction. We lose touch with our authentic selves, and over time, this disconnection causes us to feel like something is missing. But, as we'll see, it doesn't have to be this way. The path to spiritual growth offers a different approach, a way to live consciously, with purpose and peace, no matter what life throws at you. In this video, we're going to explore how highly conscious people approach life differently. We'll talk about their habits, their mindset, and the transformative power of living authentically and embracing emotions. By the end, you'll have practical tools to help you take the next step on your own journey toward higher consciousness. Spiritual maturity isn't about reaching some perfect state where you have all the answers, or where life is suddenly free of challenges. It's more about cultivating an inner peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Highly conscious people understand that life is full of ups and downs, and instead of resisting the difficult moments, they embrace them as opportunities for growth. One of the key traits of spiritually mature people is their ability to stay grounded no matter what happens around them. They've learned that true power comes from within. It's not about controlling others or manipulating outcomes. It's about understanding yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, and working on those from the inside out. This is what sets them apart. For most of us, the first steps on the path to spiritual growth begin with a growing awareness that something in our lives needs to change. We start to notice patterns in our behavior that are holding us back, whether it's reacting emotionally to small frustrations, being constantly stressed, or feeling like we're never truly satisfied. This is the awakening, an understanding that the life we're living is out of alignment with who we really are. Spiritually mature people are constantly in tune with this sense of awareness. They actively seek to understand what drives them, what triggers them, and what their deeper motivations are. This isn't something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong process of self-reflection and introspection. And that's exactly what makes the journey towards spiritual maturity so meaningful. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. A crucial part of this journey is self-reflection. Highly conscious people don't rush through life, reacting impulsively to everything that comes their way. Instead, they regularly pause, take a step back, and examine their thoughts and emotions. They ask themselves tough questions. Why did I react that way? What am I feeling right now? And where does that feeling come from? Is this behavior serving my higher purpose? This process of self-reflection helps them identify the habits and behaviors that are no longer serving their personal growth. Once they recognize these patterns, they can begin the work of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding responsibility. It means releasing the need to control everything and accepting life as it is, with all its imperfections. When you start letting go of control, you open yourself up to new possibilities. Instead of resisting change, you begin to embrace it. Instead of clinging to old ways of thinking, you start exploring new perspectives. Spiritually mature individuals understand that growth only happens when you're willing to step outside your comfort zone, and letting go is a huge part of that process. Another important aspect of spiritual maturity is learning how to respond to challenges with calmness and clarity. When faced with difficult situations, highly conscious people don't panic or get overwhelmed. They have cultivated an inner resilience that allows them to navigate through tough times with grace. This resilience comes from their deep understanding that everything in life is temporary, both the good times and the bad. By accepting this impermanence, they are able to maintain a sense of peace, even when life feels chaotic. They know that the storms will pass, and they trust that they have the strength to weather them. This is what makes them stand out. They don't allow external circumstances to dictate their internal state of being. One of the most empowering realizations that come with spiritual growth is the understanding that no one else is responsible for your happiness. Spiritually mature people take full responsibility for their own emotional well-being. They know that blaming others for how they feel only keeps them stuck in a victim mentality. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their own reactions, choices, and mindset. They've learned that it's not about trying to change other people or their environment. It's about changing themselves. They approach life with a sense of curiosity, asking not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What can I learn from this experience?" This shift in perspective transforms how they view challenges. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow, every frustration a chance to practice patience, and every disappointment a moment to deepen their understanding of life. In this way, spiritual maturity becomes less about finding answers and more about asking the right questions. It's about staying open, being willing to learn, and understanding that the journey itself is the destination. The more you explore, the more you grow, and the closer you come to realizing your true potential. One of the most powerful traits of highly conscious individuals is their unwavering commitment to authenticity. In a world where many people wear masks to fit in or gain approval, authentic individuals stand out as a breath of fresh air. They don't feel the need to pretend or act in ways that are not aligned with their true selves. Instead, they live their lives fully embracing who they are, flaws, quirks, and all. Being authentic means more than just being yourself. It means having the courage to live according to your values, regardless of what others think or expect. This is a trait that sets spiritually mature people apart. They aren't driven by external validation or the fear of judgment. Instead, they act from a place of inner alignment, allowing their true essence to shine through in everything they do. But why is authenticity so difficult for most people? The truth is, society conditions us to conform. From a young age, we are taught to act a certain way, speak a certain way, and even think a certain way to fit in. We become experts at playing roles, whether it's being the good employee, the perfect partner, or the successful person. In the process, many people lose touch with who they really are and what they truly want. This loss of self can lead to a deep sense of dissatisfaction. You might find yourself achieving all the milestones that society deems important, landing a great job, earning more money, getting that promotion, but still feeling empty inside. That's because these external achievements, while valuable, don't fulfill the deeper need for meaning and authenticity. Spiritually mature individuals understand that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with your authentic self, not from chasing after things that society tells you should make you happy. They've learned to trust their own inner voice, even when it goes against the grain of what others expect. One of the keys to embracing authenticity is letting go of the need for approval. This can be incredibly liberating. When you stop worrying about what others think of you, you free yourself from the constant pressure to conform. You no longer feel the need to compare yourself to others or seek their validation. Instead, you focus on what truly matters to you, and that's where your real power lies. This doesn't mean that authentic people are rude or inconsiderate of others' feelings. Quite the opposite. Because they are so comfortable in their own skin, they are often more empathetic and understanding of others. They don't feel the need to compete or judge because they know that everyone is on their own unique journey. They accept others as they are, just as they accept themselves. Living authentically also involves being honest, not just with others but with yourself. This means acknowledging your own desires, fears, and limitations. It's about recognizing when you're acting out of alignment with your true self and having the courage to course correct. This level of honesty requires vulnerability, and that can be scary. But it's also where true growth happens. Take, for example, the way highly conscious people approach relationships. They don't enter into relationships to fill a void or to meet some societal expectation. They seek connections that are genuine and meaningful, built on mutual respect and understanding. They don't shy away from difficult conversations or pretend everything is perfect when it's not. Instead, they bring their full, authentic selves to the table, fostering deeper and more meaningful connections with those around them. This same principle applies in other areas of life as well. In their careers, for instance, highly conscious individuals aren't driven solely by money or status. They seek work that is aligned with their values and allows them to express their authentic selves. They choose paths that resonate with their inner calling, even if it means taking the road less traveled or pursuing unconventional goals. Embracing authenticity also means accepting that you are a work in progress. Spiritually mature people don't strive for perfection. They strive for authenticity. They know that it's okay to make mistakes, to change, and to grow. They give themselves the grace to evolve, understanding that being true to themselves is an ongoing process, not a destination. When you embrace authenticity, you not only find inner peace, but you also attract others who resonate with your true self. The more authentic you are, the more aligned your external world becomes with your internal world. This alignment creates a sense of harmony and flow in your life, where everything seems to fall into place naturally. In a world that constantly pressures us to be something we're not, choosing to live authentically is a radical act of self-love. It's an act of reclaiming your power and choosing to live on your own terms. And as you do, you'll find that the people, opportunities, and experiences that are truly meant for you will come into your life, supporting you on your path to spiritual growth. Highly conscious people are often perceived as calm, composed, and in control of their emotions, but that doesn't mean they don't feel things deeply. In fact, they experience emotions as fully as anyone else, but they've learned to process and handle them in a way that allows them to stay grounded, even in challenging situations. This ability to manage emotions, rather than being managed by them, is one of the most significant markers of emotional mastery. For most people, emotions can feel overwhelming, especially when life throws unexpected challenges their way. We all know the feeling of being swept away by anger, sadness, or frustration. It's easy to react impulsively when emotions run high, shouting in anger, withdrawing in sadness, or blaming others for how we feel. However, highly conscious people approach emotions differently. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they take time to understand where those emotions come from and how to process them in a healthy way. One of the key principles of emotional mastery is the understanding that no one else is responsible for how you feel. It's common to hear phrases like, "You made me feel this way," or "It's because of you that I'm upset." This mindset places the responsibility for our emotions onto someone else. But in reality, we have the power to control how we respond to situations. Highly conscious individuals take full responsibility for their emotions, recognizing that while external events may trigger certain feelings, the reaction to those feelings is entirely within their control. For example, imagine a situation where a colleague at work says something that offends you. The immediate, instinctive reaction might be to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. Most people would respond in the heat of the moment, perhaps with a sharp comment or by shutting down the conversation. But a highly conscious person would pause and ask themselves, "Why am I reacting this way? What emotion is coming up?" and what is it teaching me about myself? This practice of pausing to reflect before reacting is a hallmark of emotional mastery. It allows you to step back from the emotional whirlwind and observe what's happening inside you. By doing this, you create space to make more thoughtful and conscious decisions, rather than being driven purely by emotion. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions. Far from it. It means giving yourself the time to understand your feelings, process them, and choose how to respond in a way that aligns with your values. Emotional mastery also involves recognizing patterns in your emotional reactions. Over time, you may notice that certain situations tend to trigger the same emotions again and again. For instance, you might find that you frequently feel frustrated when people interrupt you, or that you often feel anxious in crowded social settings. Highly conscious people don't just notice these patterns. They dig deeper to understand why these triggers exist. By exploring the root causes of emotional triggers, they can begin to unravel old emotional habits that no longer serve them. Perhaps frustration with being interrupted stems from a deeper feeling of not being heard or valued. Or maybe social anxiety is connected to past experiences of rejection or judgment. Whatever the case, recognizing and addressing these underlying emotions allows for healing and personal growth. Another essential aspect of emotional mastery is embracing all emotions, not just the positive ones. Many people try to avoid or suppress uncomfortable emotions like sadness, anger, or fear, thinking that feeling these emotions is a sign of weakness. However, highly conscious individuals understand that every emotion has value. Emotions are messengers. They're trying to tell you something important about your inner state. By fully experiencing and understanding your emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, you gain deeper insight into yourself and the areas of your life that may need attention or change. This process of embracing and understanding emotions is what allows highly conscious people to remain grounded, even in difficult situations. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotional waves, they ride them, using each experience as an opportunity for growth. This emotional resilience not only helps them navigate life's challenges with grace, but also deepens their connection to themselves and others. Let's take the example of grief. For many, grief can feel unbearable, an emotion they'd rather avoid or push away. But highly conscious people recognize that grief, like any other emotion, is part of the human experience. Instead of running from it, they allow themselves to feel it fully, to sit with the pain and the loss. In doing so, they give themselves the space to heal and to emerge from the experience stronger and more compassionate. In the end, emotional mastery isn't about controlling or denying your feelings. It's about understanding them, processing them in a healthy way, and using them as tools for personal growth. The next time you find yourself caught up in a powerful emotion, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? By doing so, you'll begin to develop the emotional intelligence and mastery that allows you to live with greater peace, clarity, and purpose. One of the most liberating realizations on the journey to higher consciousness is understanding that control is an illusion. Many of us spend our lives trying to control every aspect of our surroundings, our careers, relationships, and even the way people perceive us. We believe that if we can just keep everything in line, we'll find happiness and security. But in reality, this constant need for control only leads to stress, anxiety, and frustration. Highly conscious people know that trying to control every outcome is a recipe for exhaustion. They've learned that the key to inner peace isn't about managing every little detail of life, but rather about letting go and trusting the process. This doesn't mean they don't care, or that they passively accept whatever comes their way. Instead, it means they've developed a deep sense of trust in life's natural flow, understanding that some things are simply beyond their control, and that's okay. Letting go of control doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that begins with recognizing the areas of your life where you're holding on too tightly. Maybe it's your career, where you feel the need to constantly push for perfection. Or perhaps it's in your relationships, where you try to manage how others act or feel. By identifying these areas, you can start to loosen your grip and embrace a more flexible approach to life. The beauty of letting go is that it frees you from the burden of constant worry. When you stop trying to control everything, you create space for life to unfold naturally. You begin to trust that things will work out as they're meant to, even if it's not exactly how you envisioned. This trust brings a sense of peace and lightness, as you no longer feel the need to force outcomes or manipulate circumstances. Highly conscious individuals understand that life is a balance between action and surrender. They still take action towards their goals, but they do so with the understanding that they can't control every outcome. They've learned to embrace uncertainty and to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. When things don't go as planned, they don't resist, they adapt. Trusting the process also means accepting that life's timing may not always align with your own. Sometimes, you'll work hard towards something, only to face delays or setbacks. But rather than becoming frustrated or discouraged, highly conscious people use these moments to practice patience and trust. They know that everything happens in its own time, and that often, life's greatest lessons come from the moments of waiting and uncertainty. In letting go of control, you open yourself up to a life of flow, where you're not constantly fighting against the current but moving with it. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or difficulties, but by trusting the process, you can navigate those challenges with grace, knowing that you have the inner strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. Ultimately, letting go of control is about surrendering to the unknown and trusting that, no matter what happens, you'll be okay. This mindset shift can be incredibly freeing and can help you cultivate a deeper sense of peace, even in the midst of life's unpredictability. It's a reminder that you don't need to have everything figured out to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Sometimes, the greatest growth comes when you let go and allow life to unfold as it's meant to. Spiritual growth isn't something that happens in bursts of inspiration or during occasional moments of crisis. While challenging times can spark an awakening, true growth is the result of consistent, daily practice. Highly conscious people understand that living a spiritually aware life requires dedication and mindfulness, even on the days when they don't feel particularly motivated or inspired. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in distractions, busy schedules, constant notifications, and the pressure to always be on. But if you want to experience lasting spiritual growth, it's essential to make time for practices that nurture your inner self. Whether it's meditation, journaling, or simply spending a few quiet moments in nature, creating a daily routine of self-reflection is what builds the foundation for long-term transformation. One of the most common misconceptions about spirituality is that it only thrives in difficult moments. While hardships do push us to reflect and grow, real progress happens in the calm, quiet times. It's in those moments of stillness that we can solidify the lessons learned during tough times and deepen our connection to our true selves. Spiritually mature people recognize that when life is going smoothly, it's the perfect opportunity to strengthen their practice. They don't wait for a crisis to reconnect with their spirituality. Instead, they use daily habits to stay grounded and centered, no matter what's happening around them. Consistency is key. Just like any other form of growth, whether it's physical fitness or learning a new skill, spiritual growth requires regular effort. If you only meditate, journal, or practice mindfulness when you're in the mood, you won't see much progress. But when you commit to a daily practice, even if it's just a few minutes each day, you'll start to see profound changes over time. These small, consistent actions add up, creating a steady path toward higher consciousness. Highly conscious people also understand the importance of staying present in their daily lives. It's not just about setting aside time for spiritual practice. It's about bringing that sense of mindfulness into everything they do. Whether they're working, spending time with loved ones, or simply going about their daily routines, They approach each moment with awareness and intention. This presence allows them to stay connected to their inner selves, even in the midst of life's busyness. Another crucial aspect of consistent spiritual practice is the willingness to be patient with yourself. Spiritual growth isn't a linear process, and there will be times when you feel like you're making little to no progress. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but the truth is, growth happens gradually. It's in the small, everyday moments that you're building the strength and resilience needed to navigate life's challenges. During times of comfort and ease, spiritually mature individuals don't become complacent. They recognize that these periods are valuable opportunities to deepen their practice and solidify the insights they've gained. They know that spiritual growth is a lifelong journey, and they're committed to walking that path, no matter how long it takes. In the end, the most important thing you can do for your spiritual growth is to stay consistent. Even if you don't feel motivated, even if you're busy, even if life feels overwhelming, make time for your practice. These small steps, taken every day, are what lead to profound transformation. As you continue on your journey, you'll find that the moments of stillness and consistency will become the pillars that support you, helping you stay grounded no matter what life throws your way. The journey to higher consciousness is a path filled with ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of doubt. But no matter where you are on that journey, remember this: spiritual growth is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself every day, embracing your authentic self, mastering your emotions, and trusting the process, even when it's hard. By integrating small, consistent practices into your daily life, you're taking meaningful steps toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. You're learning to let go of control, to live authentically, and to approach life with an open heart and mind. This journey may not always be easy, but it is one of the most rewarding paths you can take. So, if you're ready to embrace your own journey toward higher consciousness, leave a comment below saying, "I commit to my journey of spiritual growth, one step at a time." I'd love to hear how you plan to integrate these practices into your daily life. Thank you for watching, and as always, wishing you a beautiful day filled with peace, clarity, and purpose.